From the jungles of Barunda to the snowy mountains of Ando Prime, from the chants of the crowd for legends of years past to the cold blood of modern competition, we meet once more for another all-time match between the ever-present Mikeyburger and against the current second best player in the world, HOMURA. Today's match is a best of 9 across in the semifinals of the 2025 Galactic Pod Racing Tournament and will surely be one to remember. In the commentary box, I'm Domaray, and we are just about ready for some thrilling pod racing action. I hope you all prepared your popcorn for this amazing match we have in store. We are starting on what can only be described as the most fitting venue we have for these two players. The training course. And we are underway today. We should be seeing jump strats from both of these competitors. Very evenly matched. HOMURA does have a small advantage on paper in terms of pace here. Got a second jump coming out of the canyon. See both players taking pretty even lines. Very similar heat pattern as well. And it's going to be a marginal lead in terms of pace for Mike, although it could be a heat discrepancy. We will only have to wait and see. We shouldn't expect too many mistakes from either of these players today. Mike has been playing this game for a very long time and has been speedrunning it actively, for the most part, since 2009. HOMURA joined a few years ago, started being active at the tail end of 2022, and has since proved to be a threat to everyone. That was a bit of a mistake from HOMURA, going extremely wide. I believe there might have been a bonk in there as well to force him that wide. That does put the advantage in Mikeyburger's corner. Let's see how he can finish up this lap 3. Boosting is the key. You see both have a clean exit. Both are clean. HOMURA's made up some ground here. Is using good heat. Oh, Mike has to hit the rock first. Who's it gonna be? 135.4, 135.394, and that is a classic start. 4 milliseconds separating these two off rip. What a perfect start to this. Unbelievable. The first race goes to HOMURA with a 135.394. Incredible. Now, did I not tell you? Did I not tell you that this would be one of the greater matches of all time? Never say I didn't tell you.
You come back, huh? You're gonna lose unless you upgrade your pod racer, I think. You cannot beat Sebulba. He always wins.
Yeah, literally less than a frame at 60 FPS. Both of them were probably doing 24 FPS. But even if you bust out ye old calculator for that, that just makes it worse. Because that means it was about 1/10 of a frame difference between the two of them. You know, I could have swore that HOMURA's audio was supposed to have been selected. Go ahead and switch. Avoid that ye old Disney copyright strike, just to be safe. All right. We move on to our second race, which is going to be Andobe Mountain Run. This is the first of Mike's picks. Now, I will say, both these players have good times on every track. It's just how it goes. But AMR is a very different track from what we just played, as opposed to the relatively consistent track that is Boonta Training Course. We are going to a track with one of the hardest sections in the game, being the Andobe Mountain Run Canyon, which both these players are capable of doing without braking. However, I suspect we will see a little bit of braking from both of them to err on the side of caution. It's very risky to go through there full throttle, but that risk does pay quite high dividends and rewards if you're able to pull it off. Oh, maybe beneficial of me to mark the winner there. Apologies, Ram. I'm being a bit lazy, apparently, on my commentating duties. As to be expected with no pod bans, we will be seeing a bend mirror, and you can see HOMURA's PB over there. It was a 341. Now, I believe Mike somewhere in the range of a 343, roughly. I did not look to see what his was when he menued into the track, but I do believe he's capable of something around that time. Of course, neither of these players are going to be going for a PB pace, but they both have the potential to be well below 350, even on a tournament strategy. I would love to see this one go down to the wire. You thought the last race was exciting. Let me tell you, if this one goes down to the wire, you'll be holding on to the edge of your seat like you're the one in the cockpit. I do wish we had a few more frames from Mike, as I always do wish, but at least we do have HOMURA's stream nice and smooth. We have the countdown having been given. Should be momentarily restarting at 343.40. Well, I was right about the 343 area, so whether this is PB or not, who knows, but I think his real pace is somewhere around there. As much as Mike is a PB hoarder, you can still kind of ascertain what his real pace is to some degree. You can kind of tell what he does and doesn't know. But yeah, not enough of a difference between these two to say that either player has a real advantage here, especially in a tournament setting. All right, it looks like there is Mike's restart incoming. We should see HOMURA restart momentarily. And there it is. I'm gonna guesstimate that sync pause a little bit. Difficult to do much else. All right. We might not have any frames of this run, but we can tell that Mike is playing, and he hasn't crashed yet, so hopefully he's doing some good stuff along the way as well. HOMURA gliding through these hairpins after the bridge section beautifully, only having lost a few tenths given this opening route to what you could do there. Not much more you can ask for. Going down through the, I believe it's a water treatment facility, is what people always call it, into the pre-canyon area. I'm not really sure what you would call this open field, but here it is, the canyon. How much risk are you willing to take? HOMURA, a little bit of a questionable line, breaks down to about 610. Some bad bonks in there. I think Mike has gotten through a bit cleaner. Sure looks like it. Let's see if we can find the lap time here. 1:19.59. Oh, it was tied, but Mike dies to 10th entrance. Mike, with historically the best death rate in the entire player community for this game, takes death on his own track pit to the tent entrance. You do not see that every day, and you can bet if HOMURA knew that he died there, he'd be counting his lucky stars that he doesn't have to race as hard, but of course HOMURA doesn't know that. And therein lies the kicker. HOMURA's still gotta go flat out because he doesn't know any better. Have we ever seen a tied lap time? I am very confident that we have before. As to a specific point in time in which we have, I could not tell you, but I could be certain. Oh my word, that was a scary decision to hold tilt for that long from HOMURA. Completely cutting that turn rate in the air was... oof. Alright, let's see how HOMURA does. Hopefully a little bit more adjusted to Canyon this time. Certainly looks like it. Doing about 620 through all of that. Lost a little bit of speed to off throttle, but 113. Ooh, grazes tent entrance, but makes it through. And Mike, that's a scary angle. 118.70. Who knows what's happened? And he made it through. Okay. He did, in fact, make it through that one. So Mike is still counting on HOMURA to do something wrong here. It's a very good run from HOMURA thus far. Looking about 345, 346 pace. Absolutely respectable for a tournament run here. Seems to be egging out a larger lead if my eyes do not deceive me. Plays it a bit safer that time going into the field. And here it is, lap 3 Canyon from HOMURA. Will there be mistakes? Will it be enough for Mike to catch up? Looking like a good start. Some good lines. A couple more. And we're through. And that's going to be a second win for HOMURA. Coming in with a 346. Very good time for tournament. Very good time indeed. And it's a 351.8 from Mike. Puts him pretty on par with HOMURA's pace. Just had that death impeding his overall result time. Very, very nice stuff from HOMURA.
Change your mind.
So given this is a best of 9, that does mean that we are first to 5 points, meaning that we have a guaranteed 3 more races, although I do not in any way expect HOMURA to sweep Mike in this regard. So plenty of pod racing still to be done. And I, for one, am quite excited to see what else Mike has up his sleeve in terms of track picks. Well, perhaps HOMURA knows something that I don't. He is playing Elon Mac on Mongasa Speedway. Fun fact for those the uninitiated sort. Elon Mac is actually currently the holder of the second best pod time for Mongasa Speedway Fast Lap. Ben still holds the record, of course. All right. Well, it would appear that HOMURA didn't know something that I didn't know. We are going to one of the 2 most infamous not 20-second skips. Gauntlet with skips. Mars Guo has been banned. Now, Mars is not technically the best available pod, even under normal circumstances, but plenty of players do prefer Mars over Ben. given that he's banned, we should see a Ben Mir, and that is a very interesting race pick. Now, I don't suspect that we'll see any Dwaynes of any kind today, but you do never know. There's always the chance. 225 with Ben for Mike on his save file here. And HOMURA is continuing to do Elon Mac on Mongaza. It might be time to practice up some skips here, HOMURA. But yeah, I do fully expect that we'll see both these players do the wall ride strategy as opposed to any form of a Dwayne. I also suspect they will both be staying on a high FPS setup to actually ride the wall as opposed to jumping off of it. I personally prefer to jump off of it, but let us see what it holds. And you know, if we get some high FPS shenanigans in that gravity tube, we may have some more fun in store for us today. And there it is. The beautiful wall climb from Mike, which, for the sake of Draco not being in this commentary this morning, or evening or afternoon, wherever you are, I will let you know that Mikeyburger actually was the one to discover this wall ride skip that we know so intimately well here in the pod racing scene. That would have been back in, I want to say 2009 or 10 is when this skip would have been discovered. And all these years later, Mike is still doing it. Drake always likes to recount the fact that Mike actually hid how he achieved the time until Draco rediscovered this skip for himself. And HOMURA actually doing low FPS strats. I, for one, love to see that. I will support that every day of the week without fail, and I hope that the strategy does not fail me. Live up to my expectations, wall jump. Don't fail me now. Andy, don't give me PTSD of losing that race last year to Mike. I don't need to remember all of that nonsense. I didn't even lose by that much. Oh yeah, that's the type of skip I like to see from HOMURA. Beautiful, wonderful. Race count was given. Should be going momentarily. Let's see, 3 out of 3 skips from both today. The jump and bounce is actually not that bad, Ram. That's why I am a full supporter of doing it. It's very nice feeling. And it makes the anti-grav tube much easier to survive, although with Ben it's not too bad. With Mars is the real problem if you're on 60 FPS Mars. That is the one risk of that strategy. You can hit that wall and just die. All right, looks like we have a restart coming in from both players. And Mike continues to egg out a bigger need for sync with every race somehow. Don't ask me how. All right. Show me the action. Show me these beautiful gauntlet skips from both players, or, you know, at least a few frames of it from Mike would be preferred. HOMURA, lap 1, gets the bounce over, clears it. Mike sticks the landing on his wall ride and is a few seconds behind as a result of an inferior method of doing the skip. Mike is relying on, in this case, reliability from his side, and needs at least something to go wrong from HOMURA, because on pure pace, that line cuts so much more distance than doing the wall. HOMURA continuing on his push. Lap 2. How will things go? Another clean bounce, clean wall ride. HOMURA sticks it, and Mike sticks it as well. Meaning we are on to lap 3 already. We are 4 of 4 of skips that we've watched so far. Will Mike make it out? He does make it out cleanly. All right. Continuing on. Roughly 3.5, 4 seconds separate the two. A death would bring Mike right back into this. Miss Skip would too. All right, let's see what HOMURA's got in lap 3. This is the moment of truth. This is where all of everything is won. Okay. That's not good. Oh! Didn't know how to save it is HOMURA. And he's got to back it up by turning around. And that's going to be a Mike win, undoubtedly. Reliable. It takes a death, but the ever reliable wall ride method that Mike has been doing for over 15 years takes him to his first race victory against HOMURA. And it is 2-1. Not a bad time from either player. Certainly respectable. Definitely different paths of getting there. Mike did take a death, which, I mean, he was on pace for a very solid time, even without that, for sure. And HOMURA, obviously missing one skip and having to turn around. Not ideal at all.
You'll not find a better deal anywhere, I think, huh?
Well, if anybody ever had out a broomstick, go ahead and put those away. We will not be seeing any sweeps today. I still do endorse the jump strat, as it turns out. Monsieur King Bean Dip. All right. Here I missed another step of my commentary stuff. Anywho, as for why HOMURA has been practicing this, we are actually going to Mongaza Speedway with no Ben, Bulls, or Mars allowed, meaning that it is an evident Elon Mac pick. Now, here's the real kicker. Albedo is faster. This is almost a modified version of the Bulls and Mars gambit that so many people have done. Where you attempt to play a quote-unquote safer pod in favor of trying to bait the other person into playing the quote-unquote faster pod and hoping they make mistakes. Now, I have never been a fan of trying to bait people into doing that because I've never seen it work, to be frank with you. And Aldar, like I said, is on paper a faster pick, but it does look like the Elon Mac times that Homer is getting are basically on par. So I would dare say there is nigh on zero difference between these two with the current racing abilities that they are showing us. It should be quite good. HOMURA looks like this is something that he very much prepped specifically for this match. Trying to egg out as much of an advantage as he could. This is clearly a lines game for HOMURA, hoping that he can take advantage of Elon Mac's much superior turning to Aldar's. 42,700 is a lot slower than a 4228. There's very little variance in the time that HOMURA is laying down with Elon. Mike definitely looks rather uncomfortable, I would say, with Aldar here. Quite wide on all of these corners. HOMURA, on the other hand, absolutely cooking with Elon. That's another 42-2 in a row. All right, we should be getting the real race now, or momentarily. I'm going to go ahead and say that that was likely the real race start, and we're going to do a sync. You might ask yourself, what is the point of a sync on Mount Gaza Speedway? And to that, I say, well, I wanted to do it, so here we are. First lap times are in, and there's about a tenth of a second between the two of them. Very different boost strategies, and very similar pace once again. I do believe that HOMURA is still egging out a bit of a lead, just from lines. Again, Aldar is a bit faster on paper, but it does not matter if you cannot drive in HOMURA into the wall. Oh my gosh, this could be close. Oh, and Mike, he just speeds up and takes the second race. 2-2. The strategy, the gambit, it did not pay off like I told you. It doesn't. I warned you. That gambit never wins. Just pick the faster pod, people. Turns out going fast is very advantageous for going fast.
You'll not find a better deal.
That bonk definitely did lose HOMURA a significant amount of time, although we'll never know quite how much. I would imagine he was probably on pace for a 0.2 or 0.3 prior to that, and he likely would have lost anyway. King Being, I do know that you have been a part of at least a couple matches where it has been Bulls versus Mars on Mount Gaza. By your recollection, has Mars ever won? Surprising Elon was not faster. Yeah, Aldar is just actually a faster pod. Like Aldar is the third fastest pod in the game, whereas Elon kind of trades between fourth and sixth, dependent on the track. You think he has one? I don't recall ever seeing it. All right, now here's a fun one, and when I say fun, I really do mean it. This is FMR Fire Mountain Rally. No Bullseye, no Mars, and no Neva Key. Talk about bold. Talk about painful. Talk about exhilarating. That is this race. Undoubtedly. I cannot wait to watch this. 5:07:950 is an official time for Mike on FMR. Just want to put that out there. 5:07:950. The old Brit putting up absolute god tier times. You think you won her place? Maybe. Maybe. I could be missing a match very easily in my memory. No. Bullseye, Mars, and Neva are all gone. And Mike with the ban on FMR! Yes! That's the absolute play. Perfection. I love this. This is going to be an amazing race. I don't care who wins this, what strategy comes out on top. Watching Mike pick Ben on FMR in tournament. You cannot ask for better entertainment. Absolute cinema. I know he has done this before. This is not his first time handling Ben around this track. I can assure you of that. Isn't this basically the same gambit now? Technically speaking. You are correct. Ben has human achieved a 5:05, which is faster than Mike's bullseye time. But Mahonic certainly can get a respectable time. Probably, like in the 5:10, 5:15 range. Yes, Mike has also played Ben on GVG, but him and I have talked about Ben on FMR before, and I know he has played this. Now, as for how quick you can take Ben around here, that one I don't have the answer for. And as to when he last played that, I also don't have the answer to that. But let's not worry about small details like answers to those questions, and let's focus on what is surely going to be a heater of a race 5 in this best of 9. We are, in fact, tied. That was a very slow lap 1 from Mike. Very little concerning. Then again, Mahonic is a very slow pod and might not do much better. Alright. It doesn't look like we've actually had the official race restart yet. It might be this one. Maybe. I think it is. Alright. Oh my word. Nothing gets the blood pumping like an FMR run without the easy picks of Bullseye and Neva. Alright. First to the forest of lap 1 is HOMURA with Mahonic. Definitely could use with a little bit better brake timing to take advantage of those lines, but we won't discredit it too much. And now here's where Ben makes all of his money on this track. These straight lines where he can just absolutely fire away on the boost, taking full advantage of his magnificent boost thrust stat. There's quite literally none other like Ben in the game in that regard. And Mike is certainly putting on the pressure here. But we are going back to a Mahonic favored portion of the track in what is What is quite cutely nicknamed Cheeseland. It's a series of hairpins that very much lend themselves to Mahonic over Ben, and Mike opting to not take the pillar shortcut is certainly costing him a large amount of time. As we can see, this is playing quite favorably into HOMURA's hands here. Very comfortable lead, 147 compared to a 150. So if things maintain course, we're looking at a 8-second pace advantage overall from HOMURA. I did not say that, Andy. To be clear, if it is on the bingo card, you should not be marking it off from me today. All right, HOMURA coming safely out of Forest on lap 2. Extends the lead. Pushes on. Already about 6 seconds ahead. Why is it called Cheeseland? Well, that's pretty simple. It is called Cheeseland because Yam thought it looked like cheese. There is not much more or less to say than that. As far as I'm aware, it did not have that nickname prior to Yam coming into this. Thank you, Yam. Of the contributions you've made, that is one that is surely to be remembered. A 145.24 coming in from HOMURA. And a 146.97 from Mike. So we are in fact looking at more like a 7-second pace advantage for HOMURA. King Bean, to more aptly answer your question, the second part of the story is that a lovely gentleman by the name of Lightning Pirate may or may not, allegedly, have allegedly fabricated a picture that may or may not have contained the word Cheeseland over the part of section that we call Cheeseland. And he may or may not have said that the devs were the ones who came up with the name. You can say what you want about that story. I will refrain from giving my knowledge opinion of that story. Shortcut, lap 3, HOMURA is through. It would take an absolute devastation for Mike to win at this point. And I do not believe we are going to be getting that today. This is looking like a massively respectable Mahonic time. Put respect on his name. That is a 5:17. If you got that with Bullseye in tournament, I would not be mad at you. And that's a 5:23 from Mike using Ben. Hey, Andy, whatever bingo card you have in front of you, you do what you want with it. I am here only to provide you with the absolute highest quality, the peak of commentary performance. and therefore I will not prevent you from doing what you will. 3-2 up for HOMURA. Has lead on Mike, not something that many people have been able to say over the course of the tournament's history. Alright. Let's see if I can ascertain what do we have going on next. It is looking like it is in fact Aqualar's Classic. A lovely pick. One of my favorite picks. The thing about Aqualar's Classic is that this, if you ask me, should actually be in HOMURA's track pool and not Mike's. Now, the reason I say that is very simple. The main strategy that one should use when facing somebody of slightly slower pace or majorly slower pace, but consistency, is to pick your most consistent tracks where you are least likely to make mistakes, and you win on a pace advantage alone. So HOMURA is in that situation. Has the pace advantage, but has less consistency for the most part. Has not really showed that today, but just on average, less consistency. Now, you're Mike, you're on the opposite side of that. You want to take advantage of your consistency advantage, which he certainly did up until now for the most part. But picking Aqualar's Classic, he did jokingly pick it with skips. I would just like that to be known. Now, as much as I speak about strategy, and I really do think that there is certainly a better and a worse way to pick, it's not the end all be all, right? Like, as much as I can sit here and criticize picking Aqualar's Classic, Mike could be more comfortable getting a time relatively akin to his PB than HOMURA is. And that difference could make it go in Mike's favor. Turn one skip, maybe the yam special of the fish skip, also possible. I'm sure we are totally likely to see either of those happen. There's also the ceiling jump in this room that HOMURA is going through now, where you can take the first ramp and jump through the ceiling. It's also an option. Unfortunately, they do not net good times if you do those things as a PC player. But, it just kind of is what it is. I would really love if HOMURA would change that line going to the big ramp. Be a bit more to the right, cut way more inside on the turn. But, alas, I cannot coach from the commentary box. That is my home. Let's see what sort of lap time Mike is putting in. 53.2 with that heat level. It's definitely still 236 pace, so that's good. At the very least, that Mike is aiming for that 236 pace, since I can assure you that HOMURA is. HOMURA will likely be driving a pace that would be akin, if not faster than, Mike's PB, actually. HOMURA's PB is a very good time. The 235, I want to say 4, maybe 5, one of the two. This track is, at least to my opinion, the best way to ascertain your true pace based in racers' physics. If you want to really understand how good you are at the game, pick up Aqualar's Classic with Ben, and drive around and see what sort of pace that you can put down. If you're a beginner, your first real goal should be dragging yourself below 2 minutes and 40 seconds. From there, move up to 238, 237. I think anybody can learn how to get a 2 minutes 37 second time on Aqualar's Classic. I have a video from quite some time ago on my second channel, specifically detailing a progression of strategies that all go from sloppy to less sloppy and show how you can get a good time. All right. That is race start. So let's see if this pick ends up paying off for Mike in the end. Mike does still need to break serve, even if he does win his own picks here. So he definitely needs to lock in on his own pick. Mike, much higher heat. Similar lines, definitely a bit advantage HOMURA, but not significantly. Half a second separates them, but very, very different heat patterns. If anything, I would say it's a couple tenths in favor of HOMURA already. If you are a Mike believer, this is not the pace that you want. All right. The end of lap 2. Keeping it clean is both sides. And HOMURA switches to right side mid-race. We are basically on even footing. Again, I would say HOMURA still got that little bit of an advantage. Certainly not a major one, though. Let's see how Clegg treats HOMURA. Oh my gosh! Oh! Inside line, right on the corner. It just takes Mike's engines clean off. And that is win number 4. Win number 4 for HOMURA. Mike cannot lose another race in this match. Incredible. That is the third, count 'em, third death for Mike this match. No, Mike did not have Clegg enabled. He hit the inside left corner right before the city section ramp. If you would excuse me for just one moment, I have a dog to go take care of because he is yelling at somebody.
Change your mind. Bona vaquisa. Fui paneaga.
Alright, apologies about the delay in your commentary. Why even have the extra engines if not for redundancy? Well, obviously that would be for speed. Come on now. What other reason would you possibly need? Now, if I am reading correctly, which I would dare say I am, I do believe we have a little bit of a heater coming up. Form of Ubuntu Classic Skips. Ubuntu Classic Skips, no pod bands, should be a bend mirror. I really can't say that I favor either of these players here, one over the other, as I am not sure how HOMURA handles the skip. Both players are quite quick on the full track, although HOMURA definitely has an advantage. Mike, 431 on the skip is not bad at all. Not bad at all. Some would say it's quite good. .444 is the full track time for HOMURA, and it really is a fantastic time, to be blunt. It does not look like he has a skips save file ever enabled for tournament. Seems like he just keeps his full track times up, but this will be interesting. I've not seen HOMURA do the skip, but it is not a skip that requires much practice to be good with Ben on. It looks like probably a 60-20 mirror between the two of them. I, for one, prefer 50-60. I like that little bit of extra stiffness, personally. Let's see how they approach the skip wall. Mike, a very safe line over the off-road, and that's a very low jump. Seems to work out fine for him. He hates the Arch Canyon section. I think it's quite entertaining personally, but the skip is certainly a good one. And HOMURA, yes, very good. plenty of height. Needs to work on consistency of the landing, apparently, but very good on the skip launch. Just that little bit of delay on the launch gets a lot more height than what Mike had, and that certainly will guarantee that you clear any sort of collision on your way there. Oh man, this is exciting. This is a potential match victory in store for HOMURA here. But I do like this pick. I really do. This pick screams to me the advantage that Mike should be trying to take. Now, admittedly, HOMURA has been more consistent in this match specifically. But that does not mean that Mike should change his betting odds despite that. We do still have a little bit of time until the official race start kicks in. If I were a betting man, just per se a betting man, I think I'd put the odds of Mike losing this race at roughly 60%, honestly. HOMURA has incredible pace on Buddha Classic and just needs to not lose everything to the skip, which, to be honest, he has currently been doing. But it is a very, very intense track, and to think that the skip would make all of the difference would be to underestimate the value of driving. And this is a very drive-focused skip. Like, you're still losing and gaining the majority of your time on the track itself if you're not throwing it all the way on the skip. But I do like this pick from Mike. I think this is one of the better picks that he could have done. But it is unfortunately his last pick, regardless of how it goes. I'm going to guess that this is the real race start from Mike, but I don't think it's the real race start from HOMURA. No, it was not. Okay, perfect. All right. Let's get these bad boys back in line with one another. Ooh, scary jump from HOMURA. Almost clips the rock on his way to the surface ramp. And you can see HOMURA has egged out a bit of pace already. The question is, can he keep it together on the skip, which in practice has been a bit shaky. I'd say both of them have made me rather uncomfortable watching. Oh, man. And it is advantage HOMURA by a little bit more than a part of a corner. Right side. Very interesting. HOMURA making some very questionable decisions, it has to be said, on the boost timings here. Definitely did not take any advantage of the fact that on skips you can very easily do fire maneuver. But it did not cost HOMURA too much. They're right in line with one another. HOMURA clears the rocks to make it a bit easier on future laps. Mike choosing to avoid it. They come across the line, 0.2 separating them, basically on the same heat. This is not even close to over. HOMURA gaining a lot of time on those turns leading up to the service ramp. And at least on lap 1, gained a lot of time on these turns as well. And it's going to be that again. Let's see how the skip treats both of them. HOMURA has really scared me so far on this skip, but is continuing to find a way across. Mike does as well. Very, very much advantage HOMURA here. It would appear that right sideline was to give Sebulba an opportunity to clear things out. Mike catching a fire, repairs it, no problem. Both clear the sand crawler on lap 2. Lap 2, not the most difficult lap. Typically, lap 3 is the most difficult lap. Off-road. Catching Mike. HOMURA pulling out BTC jump strats on Bruins Classic. A privilege very few have the opportunity to do. And that is an over a second lead for HOMURA on that lap. Very, very much cleaned it up. Service ramp cleared. HOMURA continuing to eke out a bit more pace advantage. In the realms of 3.5 seconds going to the skip. HOMURA, oh my goodness, that was a close call on that wall climb. Holy. If that had gone on for much longer, he would have slipped off. And that would have been game over. But it isn't game over yet. There is still these treacherous fires to deal with. They can catch up to you here. Let's see what happens. HOMURA is through. Mike is through. The final turns. This could be the end of the match here. It could be 5-2. A dominant showing from HOMURA. It's all wrapped up. That's a 4:33 from HOMURA. 4:36 from Mike. Both good times. But today, your victor has, in fact, been decided. And it is HOMURA. See if we can get them in here for interviews. As King Bean says, both players are moving on, as Mike will face the loser of myself and Nate Man for the third position on the podium. HOMURA will be continuing on to grand finals. They should be both in momentarily. Welcome, HOMURA.
Hi, hello. Hi.
GG's. Incredible match. Great showing, man.
Hello, Mike.
Welcome, Mike.
Hello.
GG's on the match to both of you. You will both be still playing this year, as we do have that third place podium match as well as grand finals. But that was quite a match. Going 5-2 against Mikeyburger. HOMURA, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling very good. Yeah. Just very crazy races with boom boom tap training. That was
4 milliseconds was an unbelievable way to get this match started off.
yeah.
I've had
You
two.
could not ask for less margin.
Well, against Goof, actually, I had 3,000. So there.
Oh.
And I lost that one as well.
The coin toss doesn't seem to like you, Mike.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was great stuff from both of you. Talk me through some of your match decisions.
Well, in my case, I don't know why, but I see Mike not practicing for for each track. So I figure, what if I pick like random pods, like something different, so he cannot warm up, and maybe use that as an advantage.
Okay,
So,
okay. I
yeah,
can see that.
Yeah, that's why I went with very different pods on every track.
I mean, that worked on FMR because you won that one.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Mike, I know that we have talked before about the fact that you have played Ben on FMR before, but surely it's been a little bit since you've tried it, right?
Yeah, it has been a little while, if I'm honest. Yeah.
I was about to say, like, that's hard to do without prep, to just go in raw with Ben on FMR.
Yeah, I think it's more really the fact that I just enjoyed doing that particular combo that enabled me to kind of focus on what I was doing there. But I was very aware that, like, just forget about braking distances slightly or speed variations in some corners and you're just dead. So I was like, yeah, I need to think about every corner here and not just like play instinctively. Although it was quite nice doing like Aqualize Classic immediately after. I mean, part of the fact I crashed there, maybe I was too like sleepy, but it was nice to shift from that like intensive sort of racing to something that was a bit more kind of chill.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. And speaking of that Aqualaris Classic, you two were really right on top of each other for the majority of that race, and you just clipped that one corner. Mike, is so unfortunate. I've done that so many times.
I just got too greedy. The funny thing is, I've never done that before on Aqualize Classic. I think that's the first time I've crashed on that corner because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going too wide every time. I need to tighten up. And then the one time I did, I clipped it.
Oh goodness. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That corner is terrifying, especially in a tournament setting, but it's so rewarding to get right next to that wall. It's like kind of have to go for something at least.
It's a difficult one to judge because it kind of is angled downwards, so you kind of have a little bit that you can run over, but if you run too high on it, then it clips the pod then.
This is very true. Oh man, that was very exhilarating. I enjoyed every race that you guys had. And honestly, I liked both of your guys' picks in a lot of ways in terms of entertainment value. It was really nice to see a clash of two titans once again. I know you guys have met a couple times before now. It's certainly nowhere near your first match anymore.
Yeah, I was very interested to see what HOMURA would do on some of these picks because I know some of them he didn't even attempt last year, so I was very curious to see what he would do with some of these picks that I I put, but it looks like he had like done some prep there. So
I have one question. What pod did you use on Moncasa Speedway?
I used Beto.
Yeah.
I think you went with Elon Mac.
Yeah, I went with Elon, yeah. Yeah, I must admit I kinda underestimated you there. I didn't expect you will use Speedo. Yeah.
Yeah, I was slightly afraid of this pick. I just had to think about what was different about it and sort of have a good way of managing the track in warm up, really, I think, and that seemed to help me there. But yeah, I was surprised that I won, if I'm honest.
It
Yeah,
really did look like you had an advantage the entire way through practice, HOMURA, because your times were so consistently lower than what Mike was putting up in practice. And then Mike in the actual match puts that .1 up, which I don't think you ever got below a .2 with Elon in practice, that I saw at least.
Yeah, that's just what happens. What happens
Yeah.
in the race is what matters. I have a I don't know what happened. Like I touched a wall, like the last corner, and but that kind of pushed me away, and I lost some time.
Yeah, you definitely got sent wide. It was better than dying, of course, but that kind of like embanked hairpin after the second Mongaza pillar, yeah, you kind of got pushed wide by that one.
Yeah, we need to
Certainly
bring
made a few tenths difference.
we need to bring back fast lap. Then you'd have had the advantage some more.
That Elon Mac fast lap's pretty good.
He's nearly as fast as Ben, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Yam has a 12.2. Something like
Oh
that.
wow!
Yeah. It's very, very low time. And it's kind of crazy because there's not much difference between Elon and Ben's turning, but that is enough for Elon to be able to hold the boost all the way around that first pillar without going wide. And so he just holds the boost the whole lap, except for the hairpin at the end, like the embanked hairpin. And it's just like, yeesh.
Yeah, if his cooling was better, he'd actually be the best pod there.
It's kind of whack, honestly. Hey. All right. Well, either of you have any more thoughts you'd like to share? Any questions for the other?
No, I mean just good race, Mike. That was great fun.
Thanks. I have only one question. What are you going to do against Domre?
Hey, I'm not guaranteed to be the opponent yet, Mike. I still have a match. I still have a match later, 11 hours from now. For all of you watching out there.
That's a very fair
myself
point.
versus Nate Man.
Yeah. My apologies, Nate Man. I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see that race.
Still, nevertheless, if you do end up playing Dom, have you got any ideas what you're going to do?
Yeah, I'm thinking a little bit of things, but it's going to be hard. It will be hard.
You can share them privately with me, so I can use them against Dom.
Yeah, I mean, I am happy to receive some advice. Yeah,
I look forward to seeing what everybody concocts. All right. Well, thank you both for that match. It was very fun to commentate. I enjoyed every second of it. To everybody who joined us, whether that be early or late in your day, I appreciate you being out here. I know it's not always the best of time for everybody at this time of day, but some of us, me, are on our weekend, so it kind of worked out all right. Again, like I said, we got another match in about 11 hours from now, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Myself and Nate Man, again, to decide who will be advancing to the grand finals versus who will advance to the podium finisher. So yeah, everybody who's here will have at least one more race in store for them. And I hope you all will be there for it. Thank you again to everybody who makes this possible. Speed Gaming, our tournament staff. It's always a pleasure to have a tournament, something that we can look forward to every year as a community, and it's been a very fun tournament this year, so hope we can finish out strong.
All right, and thanks for commentating on your own, Dom, today. It's much appreciated. I know it's difficult doing it solo, so yeah.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Always an honor to do commentary on these, so I hope everybody enjoyed. And yeah, that'll be it for us for today. Hope you all enjoyed, like I said. Thanks for being here, and may the force be with you.